today on, well, in a way, the title of my talk, not that I've exactly given it a title, but the title could be, What is the Dharma? You've probably heard that word, and I'll talk a little bit around that. So, but first of all, let's just start. What I'd like you to do is just think of a river, any old river you can think of, and it could be the River Spree in Berlin. And you know, because that river is flowing, that if you travelled along its length in the opposite direction to its flow for long enough, you would eventually come to the point where it emerges from the earth. You'd come to its source, wouldn't you? So if you followed the River Spree all the way, you'd get to an area called Lausitz. As far as is that correct?
I don't know.
It's about 400 kilometres away, where that river emerges from the earth. All rivers have a source. And we know that, and you know that when you look at a river, it's flowing. You know it comes from a source. So in the same way, you can apply the same principle when you come to a Buddhist centre. You see the activities of Buddhists, you see order members, you see mitras, you see people teaching and leading meditation and study and discussion groups. And because you can see that flow of teaching and communication, if you listen carefully and pay attention and practice what's being taught, you can discern that it comes from a source. And if you work your way back, as it were, through all the teachers and the lineage of teachings, the source that you get to, and that you can discern that in a Buddhist centre, the source you get to is the enlightenment experience. And the person who experienced that experience, as it were, is the Buddha. So that's the source, just like water emerging from the earth is the source of this incredible, beautiful, broad, deep, flowing river in Berlin. The enlightenment of the Buddha is the source of this Buddhist centre, the Buddhists, the order members here, all the other Buddhist centres. So that's important. The Buddhist centre here is not just sort of sprung up out of nowhere. It comes from a source, and that source is the Buddha's experience of enlightenment. And the Buddha didn't sit quietly once he'd had that experience. Whatever that experience of enlightenment is, I'm not going to try and describe it. I don't think the Buddha described it either. What he was mainly interested in, or you could say entirely interested in, was communicating that experience and how other people can also attain that experience. That's what the Buddha did. You could say that's the only thing that the Buddha did after his enlightenment experience. He communicated to other people in ways that they could understand, very simple terms, how you as an individual experience what he experienced, that liberation of the mind. That's what the Buddha did. And if you add up all the sort of collection of everything he said and everything he did, all his communication, the sum total of that is what we call the Dharma. So that's a really important word. The Dharma, as Dharmasara said at the beginning, is one of the three jewels that we pay salutation to every time we come into the shrine room. And a lot of the time, when you have Buddhists gather together, before they do any formal practice, they recite what's called the Tiratana Vandana, which is salutation to the three jewels. So you pay salutation, as it were, honour to the Buddha, the Dharma and the Sangha. So in this talk, I want to explore the Dhammaguṇavandanā, so the salutation to the Dharma. And the Dharma is very important, clearly, because if you want to attain what the Buddha attained, you need the Dharma. If you haven't got the Dharma, you can't do it. So the Dharma is the only way to the liberation that the Buddha experienced. If it doesn't get you to that experience, as it were, it's not the Dharma. It's really good to be clear what the Dharma is. You need to be clear. And it's a very rich word, and there's two main descriptions of the Dharma. So the first is it's a truth, law, principle, or reality. So it's a principle. You could say it's a founding principle. So an example of that would be this. So these are lines from the Dhammapada, very sort of foundational teaching of the Buddha. Not by hatred are hatreds ever pacified here in the world. They are pacified by love. This is the eternal law. So that you can't finish off hatred with more hatred. You can't combat hatred and finish hatred with hatred. The only way to finish hatred is with love. So that's a law, like a law of gravity. It's not a preference or it's not an idea. It's a law. Like, try it out and see. That's what you need to do. So the Dharma is like that. It's like a law. It's a governing principle, like the law of gravity. And if you want to practice the Dharma, you need to work in accordance with that law. Do you see what I mean? Because it's a law. Just like the law of gravity. When you're walking across a mountain edge, you don't go too near the edge, because you know the law of gravity will pull you down at a rapid rate. So in the same way, you apply the same assessment to the law of the Dharma. But it's also a teaching. So it's a teaching. Mostly this is what we think of when we think of the Dharma, is the teaching of the Buddha. It's what he said. The words he uses, the communication he gave us to how to attain his experience. And that's the doctrine or the teaching. And, it's an exposition, it's a making clear, it's a presentation. So that's the Dharma. And then in the salutation to the three jewels, there's some very lovely descriptive words of the Dharma. So I thought I'd go through those just as a way of making sure that everyone in the room is clear what the Dharma is. So that when you come to the Buddhist Center, you can check up on the order members here and check they're teaching the Dharma and check that what they're doing is leading you back to the source where the Buddha's enlightenment started it all. Okay? So we've got to be clear. So the first word, the first, as it were, quality of the Dharma is called svagato, which means well taught or well communicated. Okay, so the teaching of the Buddha is well taught and well communicated. And so you need to check that. That's the first thing you need to check. Is what's being taught being well communicated? The Buddha was unenlightened. He started off as an unenlightened human being, and through his own efforts he became enlightened. So the Buddha knows both unenlightenment and enlightenment. For everyone in this room, I presume, we only know unenlightenment. So when you only know one thing, it's a little bit difficult to get objectivity about it because you're in it all the time. The Buddha can be objective about unenlightenment because he's not in it anymore. He's enlightened. He knows what enlightenment is, and he knows what freedom from unenlightenment is. So he can talk about it. So he knows what we're like more than we do, because he can see unenlightenment more clearly than us. The Buddha knows about difficult mental states. The Buddha knows how to make it clear how to free yourself from those limiting negative mental states. The Buddha knows that. We don't really know that, but if you follow the teaching of the Buddha, you can free yourself. So what you have with the Buddha is an enlightened mind communicating with an unenlightened mind. That's what the Dharma is. And the Buddha only communicates what is necessary for the disciple or for us to know. He only communicates what the unenlightened human being needs to know in order to gain enlightenment. That's it. That's all he does. You could say that the Buddha didn't do anything else. He just communicated what is needed for the disciple. And it's his Dharma. He discovered it. No one else had discovered it before him. He found the way to it. He discovered it, and he communicated it. He was the first person to communicate it. And everyone else after him, including me, including Dharmasala, including everyone else in the long line, has just been communicating his Dharma. They haven't been communicating anything else. Well, they might have been. Yeah. Anyway, let's leave that aside. If they have been communicating the Dharma, it's the Buddha's Dharma. It's not their Dharma. And that Dharma has spread all over the world. The reason we're here today is because of that Dharma, that communication. And it's not going on just in Berlin, it's going on all over the world. So that's the first thing, well taught, well communicated. And then the next descriptive word is sanditiko, which means immediately apparent and visible, which means that you experience the results of practicing the Dharma immediately. If you practice the Dharma, you experience the results immediately. It's visible. You can tell in your own experience that because you've practiced the Dharma, you can see it. You don't have to wait until you die to go to heaven. You can see it now. If you do the mindfulness of breathing, like we've just done, you can see. You can experience the results. They might not be the results that you want. We have to remember that. You might have come here this morning expecting a bit of bliss, perfect tranquility, calm, insight into the nature of reality. You might not have experienced that, but you will have experienced results. Even if you sat down on the cushion and all you realised was how utterly distracted you are. That is a result. So practicing the Dharma shows you what you're like. It shows you that you're unenlightened. And yeah, if you keep practicing, you experience greater depth and calmness and bliss and all of that. So yeah, you might not get the results you want. You might be brought up against your own limitations, the limitations of your life, your reactive, repetitive mind. Yes, you'll be brought up against those. But the Dharma is creative and gives you the tools to work creatively with those. So you will experience the results now, visibly, if you practice the Dharma. Okay, so again, you can try that out. You come along to the Buddhist Center, you get told to meditate in a particular way, well, try it out and see what the results are. You don't need to worry about anything else. You just try it and see if it works in your experience. And then the next word, akaliko, which means not connected with time, universal or eternal. So not connected with time. So if you were meditating, doing the mindfulness of breathing 2,500 years ago, and the Buddha was leading the class, you'd experience the same results. It would be the same Dharma. You'd experience your same mind. If it was the Buddha here, you'd still be distracted. But the effect of meditation will be the same. It will clarify your mind. So wherever or whatever time period you practice the Dharma in, it's the same. It's the same Dharma and the results are the same. And you can practice it anywhere. Even if you practiced it on your own in the North Pole, it would be the same effect. It would be the same liberative result. Okay, so wherever you are, in whatever time period you happen to be in, you can practice the Dharma. There's no limitations. You don't have to go to a particular place to practice or to be a Buddhist. You can practice in any situation you're in. So this is from the Dhammapada again. Experiences are preceded by mind, led by mind, and produced by mind. If one speaks or acts with an impure mind, suffering follows. If one speaks or acts with a pure mind, happiness follows. That holds true wherever you are. Even if you practiced on the moon, that would still hold true. So the Dharma is eternal. But we have to remember that just because the Dharma is eternal, Buddhism isn't eternal. Buddhism, presumably, at some point, will die out, and you won't be able to come to a Buddhist centre, and you won't be able to go on a Buddhist retreat. And then at one point, maybe there won't be any Buddhists at all. So you have to put energy into cultivating, culture where Buddhism is flourishing. But the Dharma, as a principle, is eternal. Okay, and then one or two more qualities. So the next one is called ahipasiko. So ahi means see. Does it? No, it means come. Come and see. So this is what this word means. Come and see. So this is great because there's absolutely no need for blind faith in Buddhism. You don't need to do it because other people do it. You don't need to do it because it's written in a holy book. You don't need to do it because your guru tells you to do it. You don't need to do it because it's the state religion. You don't even need to do it because the Buddha tells you to do it. What it means is that it's available and you come and try it for yourself. You just come and try it. You don't need to believe it. You don't need to have any beliefs. You just come and try it. See for yourself what it's like. And that's the attitude, really. You know, if some of your friends ask you, well, you know, what's the Saturday class like? You know, should I come or shouldn't I come? Do I need to be a Buddhist? Do I need to light incense and offer it to a shrine? You know, I can't meditate anyway. It doesn't matter. You just say, well, come and try it for yourself. See what you make of it. If you want to come and keep coming, well, great. If you don't want to come, no problem. No problem. So come and see for yourself. So it's very, very experiential. And it feels like a personal invitation. That's what it should be like. So you should feel that you, as an individual, you know, are getting invited in. Come and see for yourself, not because you're a particular person of a particular group, because you're you. You come and see the Dharma for yourself. Try it out for yourself. That's all that's required. You don't need to believe things blindly. Okay, and the next quality of the Dharma is open ayako. So that means leading forward and progressive. So if you practice the Dharma, it will lead you to higher and higher levels of spiritual development. That's what it does. That's what the Dharma is for. If it's not leading you to higher and higher levels of spiritual development, it's not the Dharma. So that's what it's for. So the Dharma is a path, as you know, and it's a path of regular steps. So you start off, ideally, you start off on the first step, and then you take the second step, and then you take the third step, and if you keep going, you'll go all the way to enlightenment. That's the myth, isn't it? Of course, often we don't want to take the first step or the second step. We want to start on the fifth step. Educated, sophisticated people like us, we don't want to be taught the basics. We've already listened to some exotic meditations on podcasts and Headspace and so forth. We know about all of that. We've read books on insight and wisdom. We know about no self. Okay, so I'm ready to start on step 10. Well, you can try that, but in a sense, there's nothing stopping you apart from your own life. You can't start on step 10 because you haven't started on step 1. You might think you can start on step 10, and you can give it a go, but you'll be held back by the unintegrated, undeveloped aspect of the life that you've forgotten about while you've been involved in, thinking of yourself in that particular way. So it's like any craft. If you were going to take up a musical instrument, if you were going to take up some sort of creative pursuit, if you were going to take up something like woodworking, you'd start at the beginning, wouldn't you? You'd just say, okay, I want to do this. Tell me, what's the first thing I need to do to be able to learn this craft? And you'd learn it from the start, and you'd get taught it, and you'd follow the path, and you'd follow the training. And it would make you a better pianist, woodworker, whatever it is you were trying to do. So it's a path of regular steps, and if you follow the steps, you will transform yourself. You will become transformed. If you're not transforming, if you're not changing, you're not practicing the Dharma. You might think you are, but you're not. In the past, before we had all these books and technology, we would have, you'd have seen a monk, you'd have seen them wandering around, sitting under trees, talking, discussing, meditating, whatever. You'd have seen a monk, and you think, I want to do that. It's different to what everyone else in the world is doing. I want to do that. And you'd go up to them and say, I'd like to do what you're doing. It looks different. It's attractive. It looks better than what I'm doing. Tell me how to do it. And you'd get progressive instruction. So we need to remember that. That's our attitude, that we come to the Buddhist Center and we just want to give it a go and see if it leads us to higher spiritual states. Okay, so one more quality, and I'll say a few other things. So the last quality is Pachatang Veditabo Vinyuhi, something like that. I think this is Pali, isn't it? So all these are Pali descriptions. This is what you chant in Pali, which means to be understood individually by the wise. Which means the Dharma needs to be experienced by each person individually. You, as an individual, need to experience the Dharma and understand it. It's your life. Only you can do it. No one else is going to do it for you. There's a lovely quote from the Dhammapada again. By you must the zealous effort be made. The Buddhas are only proclaimers of the way. So the Buddha, in a sense, probably doesn't really mind if you practice the Dharma or not. I'm sure Dhammasava doesn't. I don't mind. You're free citizens. You can do as you wish. But if you want to, well, you need to do it. You need to take responsibility for your life. No one else will do it. The state won't do it, your parents won't do it, your family won't do it, whoever else you can think of, they won't do it, your guru won't do it. You need to take responsibility for your life. That's really what this means, because only you can do it. No one can force you to practice the Dharma. You can't even be colluded with to practice the Dharma. You've got to practice the Dharma. So what that means is that, okay, you come to the Buddhist Center, you take things on as though they're true. You give people the credit of their experience. Okay, I'm going to listen to this person, see what they say. And you be open, don't be cynical, don't write things off too quickly, don't be sceptical. not good for your life to be skeptical and cynical. You come in, okay, let's give it a go. Assume that what they're saying is true and correct. And then what you need to do is you need to investigate it for yourself and see, so that you know whether what people are saying is true and correct. Yeah, if you don't do that, you have to resort to blind faith, and that's not what the Dharma is. So when you come to the Buddhist Center, okay, open, positive mind, non-cynical, let's see what they've got to say, and put it into practice, and so that you know for yourself whether it's the Dharma or not. Like a goldsmith might test gold to see if it's the real deal. Yeah, you get some gold, and I don't know how you test gold. I've absolutely no idea. Presumably it involves heat and all sorts of things. So you test it. Is this the real thing? And you need to do that when you come to the Buddhist Center. So those are the qualities of the Dharma. The other thing, of course, is you need to approach the Dharma in the right spirit. So you need to not only be clear about what the Dharma is, but you also need to approach it in the right spirit. Because if you approach it in the wrong spirit or in the wrong way, again, that won't be the Dharma. It'll slip through your fingers. So you, as an individual, need to be clear, this is the Dharma, and I need to approach it in the right way. And the way for doing that was given by the Buddha. This is a slight deviation from the Tiratana Vandana. It's not in this. But the Buddha talked about the Dharma as being like a raft. So let's go back to the river metaphor, except let's change it around a bit. Instead of trying to go to the source, you're on one bank and you want to get to the other bank. And there's a raft just sitting at your feet by the bank, and you think, I can use that to get over there. So this bank, the one that you're standing on, is your ego-bound, self-preoccupied, limited experience of life. Painful, sometimes happy, but not very long-lasting, etc., etc. You've probably heard all about that. You want to get to the other side, because the other side is a state of liberation. It's a state of positive emotion, unending creativity, bliss, happiness, liberation, enlightenment. That's it's the real thing. That's what you want to get to. And you feel, that's what I want to do with my life. I don't want to just stand on this shore in this limited way. I want to get over there. So there's a raft, and I'm going to make use of the raft. And what the Dharma is the raft. That's what the Dharma is. The teaching of the Buddha allows you to get from this shore, ego-bound, limited experience, to the other shore, enlightenment. That's what the Dharma does. When you get to the other shore, you leave it behind. You don't carry it with you. You just carry on. Once you're on the other shore, you just carry on in this progressive, creative life. Unending creativity, you could say. Unending liberation. But to be able to get there, you need the Dharma. Once you're there, you let it go, and then you carry on. So that's the purpose of the Dharma. It has a function and it has a use, and you don't use it beyond that function or use. But of course there's dangers in the spirit in which we come to the Dharma. So you might think, okay, I'm going to get on the raft, and on you get, and then you just don't make use of it. You don't use the oars. Maybe you don't even push off from the bank. You just get on the raft and sit there reading books about rafts. Don't go anywhere. You've got to practice. You've got to do the rowing. You can also get on the raft and start making it quite comfortable. Get some really good or better oars, and get a really good cushion to sit on, decorate your raft. And again, that's not what the Dharma's for. It's not making you have any progress. You're still on this shore. The other danger is we don't even get on the raft. We stand on the bank and we look at the raft and we criticise the raft. We say, no, that's a load of rubbish. That's just religious nonsense. I'm not getting on that. Okay, well, no problem. But you won't make any progress. The other danger, of course, is you stand on this bank and you admire the raft. You think that's a wonderful raft. That's really lovely. That's a top quality raft. But you don't get on it. You stay in your limited experience of yourself. You're unwilling to change. Another danger is you already sort of think it's yours. You already think you know it. You think, I know what that raft is like. I know what it does. I don't even need to get on it. Fair enough. But again, you won't make any progress. And of course, you might get on the raft and row out into midstream and then get frightened and turn back. Again, no point. Better not to start. You'll just get swept down the stream in the opposite direction to the place you wanted to go to. So if you're not going to go all the way, don't bother. That's what I would say. Anyway, so that's the way. You need to see clearly what the Dharma is. It's a means from getting from this shore to the other shore. And you need to do that. You need to get on the raft, use the raft to get to the other shore, to make spiritual progress, to gain enlightenment. Then you get off the raft and you carry on. That's what the Dharma's for. So you need to take it in that spirit. So the Dharma is, I shall recapitulate, well taught and well communicated. So when you hear the Dharma, it needs to be clear to you. You need to understand it. It needs to be straightforward and easy to understand. That's the Dharma. And if you practice it, it needs to be immediately apparent what it does. You need to be able to say, oh yes, I've tried this out and it does this, or it shows me this. So you need to be able to see very clearly what the results are. You also need to be clear that it's not connected with time or place, that you can practice this Dharma anywhere. If you're told that you can only practice the Dharma in a Buddhist center, then you need to challenge that. You can practice the Dharma anywhere you go in conditioned existence, at any time. And when you hear the Dharma, you need to be able to see that you can do it and you don't need to believe anything. That it's a very practical way of transforming your life. So you need to check that. You also need to, once you've tried it, to check that it's progressive, that it's not repetitive, that it leads you deeper and deeper into your life, you could say, or out of your life would be another way of putting it. And it needs to be practiced by you. That's the final point. No one else can do it. Even in this room, if no one else is practicing the Dharma, you need to practice it. No one else can do that. So if you can see things in this way, if you come to the Buddhist center with this attitude and look out for these qualities, it will give you a lot of confidence, because you'll be able to discern, yes, this is the Dharma. And it will give you confidence. And if you have confidence in it, you can commit to it. If you don't commit, it's very hard to make progress. So in order to be able to commit, to practice, you need to be able to have confidence in it. So you need to see the Dharma in this way and practice it in the right spirit. Because if you do that, if you can see that, you'll be confident that, yes, this is the Dharma, that if I keep practicing it, if I follow through, I will go upstream, as it were, and finally reach the source of what's happening here. If I do that, I'll reach the source, which is liberation, which is the enlightenment of the Buddha, which is the source of the whole river of the Dharma. Thank you.